What is going on, guys? What is going on? So I wanted to do this stream, obviously, because I love streaming about the markets and giving you guys updates. However, today is even more significant, and the plot thickens after market close yesterday. So the big news story, obviously, is that Netflix completely whiffed. Actually, they didn't whiff on earnings. Let me actually try and find their actual earnings, but they didn't completely whiff on earnings. I think they actually beat. It's just the guidance that they provided was terrible. And then Netflix being part of Fang, right? If you're going to be part of Fang and your weightiness is sort of recognized in the market, Fang being Facebook, Apple, Amazon, Netflix, and G stands for Google or Alphabet. But if you're going to be part of Fang, then obviously you also have the weight to move the indexes and cause ripple effects in the markets. Now, one thing that's going to be really, really telling and scary is what happens to Tesla. So you could see here what happened to Netflix. And what's crazy is I actually had a cash secured put at 475, which was below major support going back all the way to right after the COVID crash. And I had to roll that out this morning because it expired in March. So I rolled it out to May. If I do get assigned, it will now be at around like the 450 level, which, is still crazy compared to the share price. I will then probably sell calls against my shares, known as what's called the wheel strategy. But yes, I mean, this is a great lesson that, you can get assigned. Stocks can do very irrational things. Nobody in the right mind, nobody, and I mean nobody, thought that Netflix would go from above 500 one day to below 390 the next. I mean, this is not, we're not talking about Fubo here. We're talking about a Fang stock. That is why I'm saying that this is going to be scary than this dude do 1,000 different things at once. I'm going to get to your comments in a second because I know there's already some funny ones. But, oh, and by the way, guys, leave this a thumbs up. And I'm not just saying that just to say it, but apparently with lives, that it helps the algorithm so that more people can find this because, yes, I do think this could be beneficial. But this is very scary for Tesla. And the reason is because Tesla is a stock that trades at high valuations, just like Netflix did, right? Netflix, even though it was a Fang stock, yes, it is considered a blue chip. It is a profitable company. It does trade at high multiples, and we can go over those multiples in a second. But Tesla also trades at high multiples, and it's at the bottom of this channel, and it's sitting at the 100-day moving average. So if Tesla comes with bad guidance, you can expect a stock like Tesla to then tank because look at what happened to a stock like Netflix. And again, I'm telling you right now, I don't care what anybody says. Nobody thought that Netflix can go from above 500 one day to below 390 the next day and it wasn't even, I mean, they beat on earnings. They missed slightly, maybe in the hundreds of thousands of dollars on revenue. It was that the guidance that they provided, citing stiffer competition and the fact that their sub numbers are not going to grow as much, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So they didn't even miss earnings. Imagine if a company missed earnings, right? So, that also applies to Facebook. That also applies to Apple, to Amazon. I mean, they have earnings coming up soon. So I would definitely hedge by buying puts on the QQQ or selling call spreads or something. Like, you have to have a hedge in place. We had calls on the VIX. I opened up another bear spread on the SPY yesterday. We obviously have the day trades every single day that give us bearish sentiment. It has been giving us a bearish sentiment every single day. So the way that the day trades are set up is you buy a certain call. I'll show you how it looks actually. But these are how the day trades are set up. So if the QQQ breaches a certain threshold at resistance, you buy the call. If it falls below a certain support level, you buy the put. And more often than not, as you can imagine, the last 2 weeks, we've really been heavy on the put side. So yeah, This really is, I mean, I don't think there were a ton of people who had a high exposure in Netflix. Like I said, I sold a cash secure put. I didn't really have shares, and I was okay owning it at around the 450 range. And, it fell below 390. So we'll see what happens. Again, I rolled that out to May. And so I think I'm pretty safe until then. But if not, I will sell calls against my shares. There are things that you could do. All right, let's go over the chat. Here we go. Hold on. Let me go over the chat and catch some of your guys' questions. All right. L Games. Okay. Morning. What's up, Dominic? Boonlang. What's up, Blinky? How are you doing? Miguel, Levi, Mike, Amjad, Regine. What's going on, Regina Slim? Siona, Sonar, Mark. Wow, a lot of you guys here. THM Gig says this dude do 1,000 different things at once. Oh, are you? If you follow me on Instagram, that might be what you're referring to. But yes, you know what I was gonna do? I was actually, let me know if this is a good idea. But what I was going to do was actually send the day trade watch list every day for free for a month on Instagram, in order to grow that, and potentially on Twitter as well. Retta says hello from Paris. Brian Lee, my portfolio is down 60%. I'm sorry to hear that, Brian. If you have specific questions, let me know. But down 60%. If you're talking about a stock portfolio, then potentially you could be holding things that are, pretty high risk, to say the least, because the markets aren't even down, 10%, unless we're referring to the Nasdaq. Let me look at actually what the indices are down exactly. See if we're in correction territory. All right. Yeah, Netflix is down. AWK, should we buy? I'm not doing a lot of buys here. We will go over stuff to buy, but I'm not doing a ton of buys here. Long on Lovesack. Ouch, another red day. You should definitely do the Instagram watch list. Okay, yeah, I will likely do that. I will likely put out the day trade watch list. I'll just put it out for free every day on Instagram for a month. So follow me on there. You should see the link in the description. Watch out for scammers. I'm never going to contact you asking you for anything. So yeah, Randy Gomez, knees over toes. Yes, follow that guy too if you're into leg day. When do you think is a good time to buy the dip? Alex Stone says, well, it depends on what you're talking about. Obviously, I would only stick to blue chips here. But it really depends on what you're talking about. Hi, I know you can't officially give advice. What is your approach? Miguel, what are you talking about? My approach to what? Roblox and Disney? Yeah, and if you guys have any chart requests, let me know. Dexter, should I buy Netflix now? No. This right here is called a falling knife. You want to wait for the knife. You don't want to try catching this. You have all the time in the world to wait for support. Like literally all the time in the world. So no, you shouldn't buy Netflix now. What was I going to say? Oh yeah, let's look at the Nasdaq real quick. So if you look at the Nasdaq, this thing is definitely heading for the 300-day moving average. So we crossed below the 200-day. We are officially in correction territory in the Nasdaq. Now, here's what's interesting about the Nasdaq and about stocks in general. Yes, so we're down 12%. We are officially in correction territory. The S&P 500 hasn't seen a correction since March 2020. That's the crazy thing. We saw pullbacks, which are 5% or greater. We still haven't seen 10% or more on the S&P, and we're not even close. We're still 2.5% away on the S&P, and then same on the Dow Jones. I don't think we're minus 10% either, but the Dow Jones looks like it might be going for the 300-day moving average. Yeah, the Dow Jones even less. We're down 6%. So we have 4% more just to get to correction territory. That's why if you're, if your portfolio is down like 60%, then yeah, I mean that's, you're definitely you're probably holding things that are a bit on the riskier side, because a lot of these indices aren't down. Oh, this is what I was going to say about stocks. So stocks actually saw in 2021, a lot of people don't know this, but 90%, I think, of the stocks in the S&P 500 saw a bear market, meaning a drop of 20% or more. That is atypical, right? That doesn't always happen. While the rest of the stock, the top 10% of the stocks actually were keeping the indexes up. So I don't remember a time that's happened where the bigger stocks are actually not only upholding the indexes, but making them rally, right? So the S&P 500 had a 30% year last year, which is insane. On average, you expect 10 to 12% on average. And then the year before that, it had another crazy year. If you take from March 2020 to the end of 2020, it was like an 80% year. If you take even the whole COVID drop into account, 2020 was a 40% year, from January to December. And that's including the fastest and largest market crash that we've had in history. The top few stocks were upholding the indices, really. And fortunately for those who understand blue chip investing, those are the stocks that you should be owning you should be having in most of your portfolio. If you look at my portfolio distribution on the Discord, you'll see it. And by the way, if you want access to all of this stuff, you want to unlock all of these channels, the portfolio, the trade alerts, the chat, everything, link is in the description below. Come join us, be a part of the family. There's over 4,000 traders in here. But yes, if you look at my portfolio, really half of it is dominated by a handful of stocks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 stocks constitute half of my portfolio. That's Apple, Nasdaq, SPY, Microsoft, Nvidia, Tesla, and Amazon. And then the rest are, smaller bits. And then obviously the riskier stuff I allocate just tiny slices to, just to be a part of the action. But, I'm not trying to hit home runs here when I'm long-term investing. If you want short-term volatility, then for sure go into, or look into trading options. All right. Let's see what the chat has in store for us. Ross, what's up? Is Apple a good stock to buy now? Guys, when you ask if it's a good stock to buy, is Apple a bad stock? No, obviously it's a good stock. It depends on what you're buying it for. I mean, we're still at 163. Apple breached the 50-day moving average. Looks like we might be heading to the 100-day for sure. The 100-day moving average would coincide with this resistance level that hopefully will act as support. Now, why is this color all weird? There. This resistance level could act as support now. So I'm looking at Apple at maybe like a first entry if I don't have any Apple, maybe like the 158 range. This is not the time to buy, in my opinion. I mean, sure, if you're an avid dollar cost averager, okay. The SPY's at the 200-day moving average, which I do like dollar cost averaging into the index ETFs at major moving averages. But in general, like if you look at Disney, if you look at Nike, like these things are falling knives. Netflix certainly. But don't discount the fact that Netflix, that one stock, can actually have these types of ripple effects. I'm not saying Netflix is the reason that the market is crashing. The market was already on a downward momentum. And then, a stock that is completely overvalued misses on guidance, and it is part of Fang. And that can cause the snowball to get larger. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that Netflix caused the market crash. So hopefully that makes sense. Is Tesla still good long-term? Dustin says, no. I mean, you're buying it too high here. I like the enthusiasm. I like that, a lot of people want to buy it in the red. This is when you should start buying, is in the red. But you're talking about a stock that is trading at almost $1,000 that just a few months ago was in the 500s. You know, I would wait until earnings. You could start to dollar cost average here, but I would honestly wait until earnings because this thing could get really ugly. As I said, there were only a few stocks, really the usual suspects of, you know, the top tier. And we can go over what the indexes look like. If you look at in Thinkorswim, there's this really cool view that shows you what are the top stocks in the actual in each sector, right? So you have the Nasdaq 100. You see here, you have Microsoft, Apple, Google. The bigger the boxes, the bigger the allocation is in that portfolio. But yeah, I mean, these big stocks were the ones that were upholding the indices, while the rest of them did see bear markets. Now, there is a few green here. You have consumer staples, you have some in healthcare, and whatnot, but it is time for the mega caps to actually have a correction or a bear market, because they've been upheld for 2 years, almost 2 years after, you know, the March 2020 COVID crash, without any significant correction. So now is the time for those to suffer corrections. And even if the rest of the market, these small boxes here, you see a lot of green, the big ones are now ready to start dropping, or they have been dropping. But yeah, I wouldn't buy a ton here. I would, you know, you can start dollar cost averaging into things, but you know, if you're a risk averse investor, you want to wait until earnings are done, in my view, if you're risk averse. Again, if you are one of these people that's dollar cost averaging every time you get a paycheck, you're like, I'm putting 200 towards the market or whatever, fine. But yeah, should I buy the dip on Rivian? I'm laughing because we have an epic short on Rivian right now. If you go back to my video from November 2021, Rivian was trading at 115 at the time. And I said, we bought the 65 puts. And I said it in that video that, you know, Rivian is going to go way below its IPO price. And now it's trading at 61. And we are just going to hold those puts. Also have puts on some of the indices as well, like the IWM, which tracks the Russell 2000, right? But no, you should not buy Rivian. Look at this. This is insane. You don't want to be caught holding this. Plus, Rivian is still way overvalued. I could easily see Rivian drop to the 40s or 30s, right? Yeah, just hang on. No need to rush it here. Finally, Nvidia coming down, please under 200. Okay, let's look at Nvidia. Whoops, wrong one. And yeah, by the way, guys, if you have any specific questions, let me know. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep rambling. Yes, Nvidia looks like it will most likely get to the 200-day moving average. I don't know if you'll get it below 200, but you could get it at around the 220 range for sure. One thing that actually, you know what? No, I won't get into that now. We'll talk about that later. Let me go over your questions. For buying, wait for capitulation. Yeah, somebody says wait for capitulation. You're right. Capitulation is when the market actually is so exhausted that it starts selling everything. By the way, guys, if you're just joining this now, leave a thumbs up. Leave a thumbs up because it helps people find the stream, and it's important that people find the stream. Is Starbucks at 97 a buy? Starbucks looks like it might find support here. I actually drew this. You saw I just pulled up the chart. I drew this a while ago, and Starbucks was trading, you know, at almost 130. It is oversold, finding support here. Remember, it does report earnings February 1st, so you want to watch out for that because, again, negative guidance, not a good thing in this market, and no mega caps are spared. So, yeah, you'll definitely want to watch out. How about SoFi? No. Square? No. PayPal? No. Diz a buy now on support. No. Disney is a falling knife, as I just showed you. Look at Disney. Gap down as well. It gapped down because Netflix gapped down, by the way. So if you guys check out anything that has to do with streaming, Roku, I bet you, has a pretty, and I haven't looked at it yet. Yeah, Roku gapped down as well. So anything to do with streaming, this is how powerful Netflix is. This is how powerful the Fang stocks are. Is that they can have ripple effects, right? So Disney didn't do anything wrong. Disney's out here like, what the fuck did I do? But because of the low projection on subscriber growth on Netflix, now people are projecting that as what we call a sympathy play on to other streaming related stocks. Disney, obviously, a bulk of their revenue now comes from Disney Plus. So your Disney's down 7%. Roku also gapped down as well. So, you know, if you're new to the market, take notes on this stuff, that sympathy plays are real. You know, the market can remain irrational longer than you can remain solvent. Even a stock like Netflix is not spared, right? Can you do NEO? Yeah, NEO is a video or a stock that I did a video on saying that it was going below 30. And look at the comments of that video. People are not objective investors. And I hate seeing ideological investors, whether it's on Palantir or NEO or Tesla. Like, you see these people making every excuse under the sun why their favorite stock is down. Guys, the stock doesn't know that you own it, okay? The stock has no effing clue that you actually own it. There is no emotional attachment between the stock and yourself. Be objective about this stuff. For me, NEO can likely tank to, you know, the $22 range. But one of the reasons that I did a video on NEO was because I didn't like once I started doing some digging, I didn't like the structure in which it was set up. It was set up with something called the VIE structure. Basically, there's a shell company out in the Caymans called NEO. And these NEO ADR shares, you own basically receipts, not even shares in the company, in the Chinese company. You own receipts from that shell company in the Caymans. All right. And China was talking tough, saying that they were going to disallow the VIE structure, which would then potentially delist stocks like NEO. No, I'm not saying NEO is going to be delisted, but I'm saying that the threat and the risk is there, obviously. Yes. But further than that, NEO can also drop back down to this level that you see here, also creating this very ugly head and shoulders. This right here is called a head and shoulders pattern. Where's my little drawing here? This right here is, why are my indicators a weird color? This one's purple now. These are just random, but you see what I'm talking about. Anyway, this is the head and shoulders pattern. Let me see if I make it white. There you go. So yeah, NEO can definitely drop, looking at it as a short candidate as well. So yeah, we'll see. All right. I got to see how much I'm up on this IWM short that I have. Oh, wow. We're up 105% on this IWM 205 put. All right, I might leave that open. That one expires in February. I actually opened that in the Discord in this section here, and there are great plays that are issued by our members. Our members are actually beasts too. I mean, you see Stock Dragon here with the 571%. Damn it, he or she beat me on this IWM put. Mine's only up 100 and something percent, but yeah, we have some beasts in here as well. So, you know, if you want to be part of a community where it's definitely a friendly community, we're talking trades all day, every day. Again, sign up. Link is in the description. Let us get back to your questions. ARK, no. But ARK is another video that I did, and I think I received more hate on ARK than I've received on any other video. And it was funny. It was, you know, there were all kinds of accusations. Someone had accused me of sexism because Kathy Wood is a female and she runs the fund. And I'm like, have you seen who I criticize everybody. Plus, Nancy Pelosi is my favorite trader, and she happens to be female as well. And I love her. I was just criticizing ARK as a fund. There is nothing, again, the stock doesn't know that you own it. Don't get married to these stocks. There is nothing wrong with criticizing a company or a fund or a CEO or a fund manager. These people are not immune to criticism, right? They're making decisions that affect the public. and you have the right to analyze them. You know, if you like certain things that they do, you can voice that, and you know, you can act accordingly. If you don't, you can also criticize that. But no, ARK is likely going to go to, if I had to guess, it looks like it's heading towards the $65, maybe $60 level. Because ARK, if you look at ARK's holdings, they refuse to, let me look at their holdings right now, but they refuse to really shift focus here. They're just digging their heels in their investment strategy. And a good fund manager, in my opinion, does not dig their heels like that. So if we look at ARK's top 10 holdings, you see, all right, Tesla's the obvious one, probably the only good move that they've done lately. But Zoom, Teladoc, Roku, Coin, these are called high beta stocks. Unity, Spotify, Twilio. I mean, these are the top holdings in their portfolio. Square. And yes, I don't mind Unity. I don't mind, I mind most stuff on here. I don't mind Square at the right price. But these aren't stocks that are supposed to be the heaviest in your portfolio. So when I look at this, I don't care who's running it. I don't care if you tell me, if Warren Buffett came out with this tomorrow, what do you think I'd say? Or what do you think the market would say, right? Do you think the market would be like, oh yeah, no, this is chill because, you know, Warren's a dude with credibility? No, they'd be like, Warren, what the fuck are you doing? So I don't care who's running the fund. I'm not married to that person. If somebody presented this to me and was like, hey, I want you to put $100,000 in this. This is a great fund. I'd look at this and be like, no, get the fuck out of here. I'm not doing that. So yeah, that is my point on ARK. Hopefully it's clear, and hopefully you guys can you know, be objective when it comes to this stuff. Shall I sell if I'm leveraged in big caps? That's a very general question. I have no idea who you are, what your portfolio looks like, how much you're leveraged. I don't use margin, right? I use my margin account to sell cash secured puts and whatnot, but I don't buy stocks on margin. He said, bro, those are Kathy bots, Cybertruck duo. What's up, Omar? How you doing, man? How join chat on Discord? Link is in the description. You'll see it there. It's very easy to follow. Is Palantir a buy? Not at the moment. No, unless there's a reason that you believe in the company. I don't think there are many buys here. I would buy the index funds, specifically the SPY, which is sitting at the 200-day moving average. I do think that, and I'm surprised that a lot of you haven't asked me about Bitcoin. But yes, I would buy the SPY here at the 200-day moving average, because that is a habit that I have going, you know, all the way back to my early days of investing, that when I do see the index ETFs and major moving averages, then I buy it. Yeah. And the QQQ, if it gets to the 300, I'll buy it as well. Doesn't mean that it won't go down further than that. Someone was asking about Palantir. Is it $10 yet? Let's see. $13.76. This thing is definitely going to $10. That is the price at which it opened. And if it goes below $10, you know, I mean, folks were saying that this was an expensive stock, and you had people online saying, no, this is $1 trillion company. This is going to be the next Microsoft, or compete with Microsoft and, you know, the public sector. But even if you look at Palantir now and you look at its multiples, it's crazy. You know, its valuation, even at $13, is still pretty high. And obviously, I'm just looking at a very, very rough overview of the ratios. You could do a deep dive and see for yourself what you think the book value is of Palantir and whatnot. But as it stands at face value, just looking at the, you know, traditional ratios that we have, I mean, it is still extremely overvalued, you know, trading at 132 times cash flow, trailing 12 month, trading at 71 times cash flow forward, you know, price to sales up and still in the 20 range, even at you know, it's trading at $13. Now, based on momentum at one point, yes, I did really like buying Palantir at support when it hit, the high teens. Historically, Palantir has a good record of bouncing from there, but now it's the show and prove market, right? Do you have the earnings to justify this? Do you have the revenue to justify this? Do you have anything in the pipeline that can justify your insane valuation? Because even if you look at Netflix, as I said before, Netflix was quote unquote overvalued, right? So even at 386, its valuation, if you are judging it by the same ratios, was terrible. Everything else was great. So the market was willing to set aside its valuation because it was growing at such a high clip. Profitability was amazing. Momentum, obviously. Its valuation was a little suspect, but the thing is, when companies have high valuations, if everything else looks good, their cash flow, their profitability, their growth, then what you're expecting is that they grow, what they call grow into the valuation itself, right? And so you set aside valuations because you have crazy growth. Let's look at the usual, let's look at some of the mega caps, even Facebook, right? Valuation wise, again, judging just by the traditional ratios, there are other ways of judging a company. If you look at Microsoft, same thing, but its growth and its profitability, actually Microsoft's growth is a little stagnant here, but anyway, growth, profitability, cash flow, etc., makes up for bad valuations because you expect the stock to grow into those valuations. Palantir is not there, right? Palantir has an insane valuation, and it's been around for a very long time. It just went public, late 2020, but as a private company, it's been around for a very long time. So I would not be surprised to see it, if it crosses below $10, Jesus, I mean, that is such a psychological hit. Yeah. And, I hate to see it for those who, overloaded on Palantir, thinking that somehow it's a blue chip, somehow it's going to compete with Microsoft, somehow it's $1 trillion company. I mean, these, to me, even if I did buy Palantir when it hit like the 17, 18 range, it's still not a blue chip to me. It is nowhere near 1% of my portfolio, right? To me, I reserve those high distribution places for blue chip stocks, not stocks like this. Should we wait until after the Fed meeting to buy the Fang stocks? I think the Fed meeting is likely going to be positive, and I say positive with a grain of salt, meaning everything that we know is likely priced in at the moment, right? Everything that the Fed has said is priced in the moment, and I don't think they're going to say anything new. And if they do say something new, they'll try to say something to actually quell the bloodbath in the markets as opposed to increase it. Now, I don't know, Jerome, because Uncle Jerome just got signed or confirmed, for a second term, right? This fool can come out with a cigar and be like, you know what? Screw it. We're raising rates 10 times this year. We're going to get to 5% federal funds rate by Easter. If he says something like that, yes, I mean, good luck to everybody. But he's shown that he has a history of trying to quell the markets when things are getting bad. And by the way, the bond market is absolutely getting shellacked right now, like shellacked. Rates finally dropped today. As you can see, TLT is up again. When rates go down, bonds go up and vice versa. But, I think that the 10-year hit like 1.87, I want to say, which is the highest that it's been in 2 years. It's down now. So we're at 1.75. Finally hit some resistance, but I don't know if it will get much lower than the 1.7 mark. So yeah, it's not just stocks that are getting burned. So, and remember that the Fed is going to sell a lot of their treasuries by end of year. So there's going to be a lot of treasury liquidity hitting the markets as well. So you can imagine that rates are going to continue higher, even though we're getting a little bit of a reprieve or relief today. Wow, look at SPCE. Is SE a buy? Nope. SE is not a buy yet either. Continues to bleed, continues to be a falling knife. We marked it at around the 138 range, 138 to 149. That's what I'm looking at for SE, which is in the golden pocket. Obviously, I'm still going to see if it finds support or not there, and then we go from there. All right, is Roblox a good buy here? Guys, why are you so eager to buy stuff? I mean, I like it because I instead of asking if you should buy stuff when it's green, it is better to buy stuff when it's red, but I think you can afford to wait. Actually, Roblox at the bottom of this channel that we drew a while ago doesn't look too bad. There is major support at the 70 range, and I think it opened up, if I want to say, at $65 back when it hit the market last year. But I think you can afford to wait. I honestly think you can afford to wait. And by the way, another thing that I like to do is I like to corroborate what I'm seeing with what the options market is doing, because the options market is going to tell you what the sentiment is, right? And you could see now just overall there are way more puts than calls. But if you look at the SPY, for instance, you'll see 70% puts, 32% calls. Look at the triple Qs, same thing, 70%, 30%. So yeah, look at the options market as well when you're trying to gauge what the sentiment is. Wow, I thought there'd be actually more puts on Netflix. But yeah, guys, again, if you're new here, hit that thumbs up. Helps people find the stream. And our job is to help people out. So do that. Tesla can easily go into the 800s. Yeah, I think it can too, especially if it breaks this support here. Let's see. All right. What are your thoughts on Nvidia and AMD? Depends on what type of thoughts you were looking at. Bought ETH at 27.30. Yeah, guys, ask a more specific question as opposed to just thoughts. Thoughts are very hard to answer because I don't know what type of thoughts you're looking for. ETH, yeah, not a bad buy here on Ethereum. We were actually at this level back in September. A lot of people forget, before hitting almost 5K. Crypto obviously remains the most volatile of all assets. You can make a lot of money if you catch the right wave. But yeah, on crypto specifically, obviously it's much, much better to buy in the red than in the green. I would be interested to see if this holds. Let's do a quick Fib retracement on ETH, and I could tell you what levels I would look at next. Actually, yes, I do really like this level. So the level that it's at right now, 2,800, is in between the 0.68, 0.65 Fib. This is called the golden pocket. And this is support, going all the way back to mid last year. So I don't mind buying ETH here. I would look at the 1,800 level again if we fall down there. Looking at Bitcoin while I'm at it. Let us take a look at Bitcoin real quick. This head and shoulders that we drew a while ago, that formed. I was saying on Bitcoin, unfortunately, the weekly MACD on Bitcoin never fails. Anytime you see the weekly MACD on Bitcoin cross bearish, it has always led to a crash. And I highlighted this towards the end of last year, saying that this weekly MACD is not good. Obviously, you can always be proven wrong with an exception or two. However, it was, lo and behold, now looking in hindsight, that weekly MACD was the death knell for Bitcoin once again. And we saw it drop from almost, 65,000 all the way down to where it's at now, 38,000. Head and shoulders confirmed. Could really drop below, would suck, but could really drop to the 30K level, which I drew here a while ago. So, yeah, but at that point, we'll see who buys, right? Everybody says that they want cheap Bitcoin. Everyone says they want cheap Tesla. Now is the time to see who actually puts their money where their mouth is. Obviously, it's up to you guys. But this is what when people say capitulation, this is what they mean is, when Bitcoin finally gets here, you see a wave of selling because people are like, oh, I had enough. This is just too much bearish action for me to stomach. And so they let go of their shares or their coins or whatever. That's what capitulation is, right? And that's what smart money looks for. They look for that because once capitulation happens, that's when the bottom is in or close to being in, right? When folks give up, when a majority of people give up. But yeah, SPY holding nicely at the 200-day moving average here. I'm going to put in a buy in my retirement account after I get off the stream on the SPY. Again, just a nice weighted dollar cost average here. So yeah. Hood. No, I'm not buying Hood. Is your core Mike H. What do you about EV stocks? Not sure what you mean. What are your thoughts on Apple? Depends on what thoughts you mean. Has your thought changed on Lucid? What thoughts are you talking about? I have a short on Lucid at the moment. Hood, please. All right, fine. Since multiple people talked about Hood, let's go over Hood. Hood is a falling knife that can easily fall to $10. I mean, it's not. It's a non-profitable company with a business model that is being scrutinized, right? The payment for order flow. If you guys don't know what Robinhood does, Robinhood actually, what they call, they front run your trades, meaning that, you have a bunch of trades coming in. We're all putting our trades in. They actually send our trades to the hedge funds, right? This is real. This is not conjecture. This is not conspiracy. They send our trades to the hedge funds, and then the hedge funds get to put in their trades. They get to know what we're buying, and they put in their trades before yours, and they get pennies better, better pricing, and they get paid for that, right? So there's been a lot of focus on payment for order flow because of the GME, AMC, all that stuff, right? That whole, one second. All right, sorry. I just had to do something on the computer. But that business model is really getting a hard look from the SEC, from lawmakers. Nobody likes that business model because obviously it helps the hedge funds. So it's not profitable. It's doing payment for order flow. It's burning cash like crazy, and it has earnings coming up. I mean, honestly, Hood can easily fall below $10. So no, I'm not buying that. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Zomox. Thank you so much for your donation to St. Jude's. Oh yeah, the donate button. Forgot about that. Guys, donate to St. Jude's. And if you have a question, I'll answer it. All right, Netflix investable. I already answered that. No, not at this time. F starts to rise. If you're buying F now, it's a bit late. We bought F, I think it was like I want to say $13. Yeah, but this right here was a huge institutional candle, in my opinion. This huge sell that you see here, January 19th. Now it's currently holding at the 50-day moving average. Very interested to see if Ford actually holds here. So we'll see. Is Xilinx a hold? Well, so I think a lot of folks misread, and this might be my fault, but misread what I was saying on Xilinx. So I did a video on Xilinx and AMD, right? I wasn't saying that it's time to go all in on Xilinx or AMD. Obviously, I never say it's time to go all in on anything. I was saying that the deal spread between Xilinx and AMD was so juicy that if you bought Xilinx and the AMD merger went through, that you would be getting an additional 15-20% discount on AMD. Because for every share of Xilinx you hold, you're going to get 1.7234 shares of AMD. Obviously, that's contingent upon the deal going through. And at the time, the way the multiples were trading, let's check what the multiples are now. See, now the multiples, I think let me see if I pull up my calculator real quick. If you look at the deal spread multiple right now, let's see. So if you go 122 times 1.7234, Xilinx should be trading at around 210. Still based on the deal spread. So you are getting a bit of a discount because Xilinx is at 190, right? It's not as great of a discount, I think, as it was when I did that video, but you're still getting it at a discount if you think that the deal is going to go through. That's all I was saying at the time. Not, Xilinx is a great buy, it's never going to drop, or AMD is never going to drop. Obviously, the whole market is going to be subject to the economic factors that are now touching the market, right? But I was saying that the deal spread is so juicy that if you did want to buy AMD, a cheap way to buy AMD is through Xilinx, obviously contingent upon the deal. The deal can go bust and we don't get shares of AMD. So I don't, in my view, it's not a main strategy as a way to buy AMD. I think if you want to own AMD, you should still buy AMD. But a certain percentage in my portfolio, I'm willing to risk it to get that additional discount by buying Xilinx shares and then hoping that the deal goes through. I'm getting an additional 15-20% discount on AMD. That's all I was saying. Xilinx, yeah, currently holding it at the 100-day moving average. Guys, when you say, is something a buy? Obviously, if you're asking about a blue chip, if you're asking about Apple, you're asking about AMD, you're asking about these stocks, yes, they're all buys. It's just a matter of portfolio distribution. That's way more important than what you buy. Is your portfolio now 70% Xilinx or 70% Tesla or 70% Apple? If it is, then I think you should look up what portfolio distribution looks like and adjust accordingly. But when you're saying, is something a buy? Yes, these companies are obviously great companies, so they are a buy. But what people usually mean is permission to go all in, or if I buy here, is shit gonna tank, right? And that's really not a way to invest. All right, let's see. Jibba Jabba, the ultimate troll, always a troll. I don't know why I don't just block you. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I keep you around because I think you need something to do. Tony, thank you so much for your donation, man. Thank you so much. Tony Lee donated $10 to St. Jude's. If you have a question, let me know, Tony. You really need to make a video for Europeans because the U.S. option. No, I don't. Because there are a ton of Europeans in our Discord. Half of our Discord, half of the people here in this Discord are European. I'm not even kidding. At least half. And they all use Interactive Brokers to trade U.S. options. So if you're looking for a platform, use Interactive Brokers. But yes, we have tons of Europeans in the Discord. Do you think DraftKings worth holding? No, I don't like DraftKings, in my opinion. Should you hold it? I have no idea how much of it you hold, where you bought it, what else is in your portfolio. All this stuff matters. Context matters, guys. Good morning. Do options expire the day of expiration at the end of that expiration closing day? So, yes and no. Good question, by the way. But options are supposed to expire at the end of the trading day when the CME closes on Friday, right? On the expiration Friday. However, technically, if you are short options, right, like as part of a spread, or you have cash secured puts or covered calls, the option buyer has the right to exercise all the way until, and I've seen this before, all the way until Saturday. Right. So I've actually been assigned on Saturday. I'm sitting down on the couch eating my cereal and I get I don't eat cereal. I'm just kidding. But I get an email saying that, hey, you've been assigned an option, because option buyers can actually exercise their options past market close. So Most of the time, yes. But if you own a short option and somebody really wants to exercise, you can get assigned past closing on Friday. Hopefully that makes sense. If you have a long option, then you don't need to worry about it because you're the one that owns the right. Roku still stands a chance at 200. I don't know. What is it trading at now? I'm not a huge fan of Roku, to be honest. No, I don't think Roku's getting to 200, to be honest. And watch out for Roku's next earnings next month. You could see Roku back at, this is probably the range at which it should trade. So, yeah. What's your favorite cereal? Well, all right. So, Randy, I don't eat cereal often. But when I do, I love all of them, right? Cocoa Puffs, Cinnamon Toast Crunch is amazing. Once in a blue moon, I like Fruity Pebbles, but sometimes it has a weird taste. Frosted Flakes. Yeah, so probably Frosted Flakes, Cinnamon Toast Crunch, and Cocoa Puffs. Those are the top three. And then Lucky Charms for, a consolation prize. Thoughts on SIRC, guys? Ask me a more specific question, please, instead of just thoughts. Tesla price prediction at the end of 2022. I don't know, somewhere around here. It really depends on what the market does. I would say that the picture becomes clearer after their earnings, because their earnings are going to tell a lot about, it's going to tell a lot about their new factories, some of the new products they have coming out, like the Cybertruck, about their profitability, etc. So about their cash flows, I would say wait. For the earnings to come out, and that will likely tell the story. Is this a bull trap right now? Bull trap means that we're actually going up. Not sure where you're seeing the bullish momentum. The indices are still down. So no, this is not a bull trap, because you would actually need to see something go up for it to be a bull trap. Regine says Cinnamon Toast Crunch is the best. Yes, it's definitely top 3 for sure. Is it worth holding small cap growth the next few months? I don't have much in my portfolio, to be honest. I'm actually short IWM heavy. All right, let's see. What do you think about Facebook? I don't like Facebook. I don't use Facebook. I hate the product. I don't know. Are you talking about the stock? Are you talking about the company? Not sure. Ask a specific question. All right. Is this financial advice to buy Kellogg's? Fun fact, Kellogg's was actually one of the first stocks I owned as a kid. It was Kellogg's and Nintendo. First 2 shares that I owned. And I remember my dad buying me a Nintendo share. I think the banker had to buy it off of the Japanese exchange, because at that time Nintendo wasn't trading in the US. But yeah, first 2 shares were Kellogg's and Nintendo. And the thinking behind that was that my dad knew that obviously I loved Nintendo and I loved cereal. So if he bought me shares in something that I liked, he bought me 1 share of each, right? Trying to teach me financial responsibility. But if he bought me shares in something that I liked, then I would be more interested. And he was right. Every day I would check on the price of Kellogg's and Nintendo, because, if he bought me a share of Berkshire Hathaway, well, 1, it would indicate that he was a rich MFer. But let's just say he bought me a share in, I don't know, Home Depot at the time as a kid. I wouldn't be interested in it, right? But yeah, so good advice to those who are parents. If you want your kid interested in stocks, buy them shares in products that they already identify with. Then it will get them more excited to check the price. Shafiq, thank you so much for your donation, man. Yeah, much appreciated. Thank you so much. All right. Could you please chart Riot? Regine asks. Regine, anything for you, loyal follower. And Regine's Instagram is lit. So go follow her on Instagram. I'm not going to plug your Instagram, Regine, because I don't know if you want that many followers. But yeah, always lit. Let's see. So yeah, I mean, Riot obviously is playing off of what Bitcoin is doing. And the fact, I think that when you're charting Riot and Mara, you are better off looking at Bitcoin's overall trend and then trying to see what it's going to do. There is a chance that this is the extent of the downfall for Bitcoin here, because the head and shoulders technically is confirmed. And there is a support level here at around the 38K level. So if this is, you know, the bottom, I guess, for Bitcoin, then you could surmise that this could be, and this is also a support level for Riot, right? So you could surmise that there is a potential bottom here for Riot. But I would honestly just track Bitcoin and see what Bitcoin is doing before jumping into the Bitcoin mining stocks, in my opinion. You can obviously take a look at the options flow and see if there's anything there. Still pretty bearish on Riot. I wonder if Mara has any data, and bearish on Mara as well. So I think the options market is pricing in a further drop on Bitcoin. And I did see a very weird but extremely interesting correlation between lumber, gold, and risky assets like Bitcoin. So I think it was Michael Gayed who was talking about this, but basically there is a weird correlation between lumber, gold. There's a lumber gold ratio and Bitcoin. So I think the thinking is there that, you know, gold is seen as a safe asset. Lumber is seen as a risky asset, I guess, because when there's a lot of exuberance, home building becomes, home building starts picking up and home buying starts picking up. But if the economy is in trouble, right? If the economy is in trouble, then home building slows down, home buying slows down. And so lumber prices drop. So when lumber prices drop in relation to gold prices, that is an indication. And it's a very, very interesting and weird correlation, in my opinion, because nobody would ever think, hey, what does lumber and gold have to do with the market? Like, how are they correlated? But it's so true. If you think of lumber as an exuberant asset, right? Not necessarily risk on, but exuberant, meaning that when the economy is doing well and everyone has money, everyone's home building and buying houses like crazy, the housing market is skyrocketing, and less people are buying gold because it's seen as a safe, boring asset. However, when gold starts to rise versus lumber, or when lumber starts to fall against gold, that is seen as the tides turning. And I think it was Michael Gayed who then further extrapolated this onto the crypto market, saying that, hey, I see a correlation that when the lumber gold ratio goes down, meaning when lumber goes down in relation to gold, that's when crypto also takes a hit, because crypto is seen as the riskiest of assets. So pay attention to the lumber / gold ratio. And yeah, I mean, I do, like, when I looked at the chart, I was like, man, there is something to this. This is not just, you know, hyperbole. There's actual factual data. And I thought it was one of the most interesting correlations ever, because you know, it's correlations between two asset classes that you would never think. And it really has ripple effects on the rest of the market. So anyway, wild tangent there, but yeah, I would say, Regine, track Bitcoin's price, and it will tell you whether this level on Riot will hold. But right now, the options market on Riot and Mara look pretty bearish. Dexter says, great channel. Thank you so much, Dexter. So do you think selling weekly covered calls $1 above your average price a good idea? That's too general. It depends on what you're talking about. Where is next on your travels? Probably Mexico, but yeah, follow me on Instagram and you will know. If Russia invades Ukraine, what's the best way to play the market? This is how fucked up we are. Okay. If Russia invades the Ukraine, right, the market should be not the last thing on your mind, but probably the people of Ukraine should come first. But it is. I'm making fun of you a bit, Shaolin 31, but we're making fun at your expense. I think like that. Obviously, everyone who has money in the market thinks like that. But it's just so funny. It just shows how far gone we are. When it comes to the markets, we're so focused on the markets that we're not thinking about the ramifications that this stuff has on people's lives, right? Which I guess is not something to laugh about. I'm laughing more so about how sick our mentality is and not obviously the situation that's occurring. But if Russia invades Ukraine, what's the best way to play the market? There isn't a specific way to play the market if Russia invades Ukraine. You just have a bearish sentiment on the market. So you keep your hedges on, again, buying puts, selling credit spreads, call credit spreads, selling calls, etc. Yeah, that will not be good for sure. I was actually trying to think of when there was ever a conflict in modern day history between two nuclear powers, right? Like you had World War II, nobody had nukes. The U.S. had nukes, developed nukes, right, through the Manhattan Project, eventually dropped those on Japan. First and last time nukes were ever used. But after that, once a lot of countries, we have now a good number of countries that are nuclear powers. When was the last time that two nuclear powers went to war? I don't think that's ever happened. Obviously, we had the Cold War, but that was not an active war, right? That was more of a clandestine operation, I guess. But an actual hot war, I don't remember in my history the last time. It's always been, nuclear powers beating up on countries that didn't have nuclear powers. And that's why countries like North Korea, rush to get nuclear weapons because they know, hey, if we have a nuclear weapon, no one's going to mess with us, right? Because I guarantee you, if North Korea didn't have a nuclear weapon, it would be descended upon by South Korea, China, U.S., and some sort of European coalition, right? All that is to say that I don't know if Russia invades Ukraine, and if it does, that's going to be very interesting. I don't think there will be a hot war between a nuclear-armed European country or the U.S. and Russia. That thing will probably be resolved in another way because, again, I don't remember a war ever being fought. And correct me if I'm wrong, guys. Like, leave it in the chat. But going back to all the wars in memory and wars that I've even lived through, like the first Gulf War, right? Like I don't remember a war between two nuclear powers. So, Dexter, where are you right now? I'm at home. You creep. They wouldn't be invaded by China. I'm not sure what you're talking about. I'm South Korean. Here is one of the safest countries in the world. Yes, of course. South Korea is very safe. That was not my point. I was saying that if North Korea didn't have a nuke, then it would have already been taken out. The fact that it has a nuke is a deterrent. Cloud chilling. I'm from South Korea too. Welcome. All right. Let's see. Shop. Good point to average down. 5 to 10 year hold. Yes. Back to stocks, guys. Back to stocks. See, you guys make me delve into politics. And I asked you last time if you guys would be cool or not cool with, but if you would actually, if I started a second channel where I talk about things other than stocks, would you guys watch it, right? Because I like to talk about history and politics and obviously travel and food and all that stuff. But yeah, basically giving my opinions on things other than the markets. And obviously some of those things would affect the markets. Would you guys get benefit out of that? Let me know again in the comment section or in the chat because, yeah, I do like to talk about that stuff. No, shop broke well below support here. I would wait. This line that I drew goes all the way back to December 2020. So over a year now, and it broke below that. So I would actually wait. And remember, shop also reports earnings February 16th. So watch out for that. You know what? Actually, let me look at who reports earnings next, because if there is a large, like a mega cap company that reports earnings, So we already saw the fiasco that was Netflix, right? Nobody expected that. Again, I don't care what anybody says. Nobody expected that. Let us take a look at who reports earnings next, because, and I'm taking a look at earnings whispers page. By the way, if you don't follow them on Twitter. Okay, I found it. So if we take a look at earnings whispers page here on Twitter, follow earnings whispers on Twitter, best follow for earnings. It's, gives us this whole calendar telling us what's coming up next. So today is what, what is today? The 21st. All right. So on Monday, we got IBM, Logitech, right? Okay. Here's the big one. Here's the big one. 25th, we have Microsoft. Okay. That's one that we want to pay attention to, because Microsoft, as I showed you, Microsoft's valuation by traditional metrics, it is overvalued. Okay. Meaning that if you just look at on paper, you just take the ratios that we're all taught in finance school, price to book, price to sales, price to cash flow, etc. Microsoft is currently overvalued. Again, there is this trade-off between growth, profitability, and valuation. The market is willing to put aside valuation if the company continues to grow into its valuation, with Microsoft, which Microsoft has been doing. One of the greatest companies to ever exist on planet Earth from a business standpoint. So you will want to see this. This is one that I like a hawk. And then obviously we have Tesla. Is it still on? I don't know if Tesla's earnings are still on the 26th, because last time I read, oh no, sorry, it was AMD and Amazon that haven't scheduled yet. Tesla is on the 26th, if I'm not mistaken. We can corroborate that with, let me look here. Let me see what TradingView says. Is it really that soon, the 26th? Yeah, January 26th. Golly. All right. So Microsoft is one you'll want to eye like a hawk. Tesla is the next one, because if Microsoft is overvalued, again, by traditional metrics, that I'm not making an indictment on the company, just talking about on paper right now, looking at the traditional ratios, then Tesla is out of the stratosphere. And only because Tesla, doubled in price within a couple of months. So these two right here, and also dictates a huge part of the indices. If you look at the S&P 500, Tesla constitutes a pretty big portion of the S&P 500, right? As well as the Nasdaq. Tesla constitutes a pretty big portion of the Nasdaq. So, yeah. Oh, look at that. The Dow Jones just turned green, and the Russell's up 0.59%. Damn it. Now my IWM put is probably, let me see where it's at. It was at 105% when I started the stream. I swear if it's down. All right. We're at 54% profits. Respectable. But I could have closed it for 108 if I stopped yapping. And I closed our VIX calls this morning, by the way. So, yeah. All right. What am I saying? Yes. So we'll want to watch out for Microsoft. We'll want to watch out for Tesla. And guys, this is the moment of truth here. Tesla's sitting at the 100-day moving average. Yes, again, you could dollar cost average if you don't have any Tesla. Is it considered a good price? No, but certainly better than where you probably thought you were going to buy it at. And I like the SPY here at the 200-day moving average. So this is a moment of truth. This is a moment of truth. I think that you can wait until Monday or Tuesday to actually decide what your game plan is, because we got Microsoft Tuesday, Tesla Wednesday, Apple on Thursday. Dang. All right. And the plot thickens. All right. We got FOMC, Uncle Jerome in the house. Watch your mouth on the 25th and the 26th. This is now revelation. Before I did the stream, I didn't realize all of these things were converging at once. So we got Tesla at the 100-day moving average, SPY at the 200-day moving average, Nasdaq official correction territory. We got Microsoft earnings Tuesday, Tesla earnings Wednesday, Apple earnings Thursday, FOMC meeting 25th, 26th. Next week is by far the biggest week of the market of 2022. I'm saying it right here, right now. So if you are risk averse, grab your pockets and hold on to them tight. If you are an investor that dollar cost averages, we do have some opportunities on to dollar cost average on the indices. Yeah, this is going to be exciting. I will definitely have some options plays for us for everything going on next week. There should be a ton of volatility, which means a lot of fun. Volatility is fun. And if you are neutral, right? If you can actually look at this day trade watch list and be like, wow, there's actually a lot of stuff for me to play today. Because I don't care whether the market is bearish or bullish. If Square goes above 126.65, I'm buying the 130 call. If it goes below 125.25, I'm buying the 120 put. And volatility is this watch list's best friend. And yes, I decided here that I will be sending out the watch list on Instagram, I'd say for about a month, maybe a couple weeks or a month. I don't know. So follow me on Instagram. If you're not part of the Discord, follow me on Instagram. And I will be sending this out. And you get a chance to see what they look like. But then I'm going to take it all the way and leave it back on the Discord exclusively. But yeah, otherwise, join the Discord. Learn how to trade this stuff. Because each day we're neutral. We don't care what the market is doing. And I was talking to somebody on the Discord yesterday who said that in this environment, day trading is better than swing trading. And I wholeheartedly agreed with her. That if you have the time, day trading is better because you're neutral. You wake up every morning neutral. I wake up every morning. I put this together and I don't know what the market is going to do on that specific day. I have a view from a macroeconomic standpoint, but I don't know what the market is going to do from a specific day or on a specific day, on a specific time. So I remain neutral by creating this list. And this list shapes what I do depending on what the price action does, right? And these were yesterday's results. Like I had the Apple put. We had 52% on that. Or sorry, this was a couple days ago. What was yesterday? I didn't update yesterday's price action. But we actually killed it on the Rivian puts, the QQQ puts, as well as the Tesla put went ham yesterday. So, yeah, come be a part of the community. Would love to have you. All right, thinking of wrapping this up because we've been going over an hour now. Hopefully I answered most of your guys' questions. Let's see. TTT lived through World War I and World War II. Yes. I'm definitely old. Yeah, you will see that if you watch my last Instagram story, you will see how old I am. I put it in there. Let's go slowly, buy the long holds. Yeah, you can go slowly, but again, in my view, when I see the indices at major moving averages, I don't even think about it. If I'm building a long-term portfolio, that is. Jerome's in the house. Watch your mouth. Yeah, you knew exactly what song I was talking about. Hype Beast J, for sure. Don't you see a bull market at the end of all this? Yeah, I do. I'm on record. I think we end the year higher than we started. Yes. But is it going to be? So we had a 40% month year to date on 2020, 30% year to date gain in 2021. Do I think we're going to see anywhere near that in 2022? No, I don't. Especially, I mean, are you crazy? Like the rates are going to rise this year. We're going to get at least 3 rate hikes, maybe 4. In that kind of environment, you cannot get a 30% year, in my opinion. That's just not going to happen. Will it end up, higher than it started? Yes, I do think so, but it might be incremental, right? Like it's usual to get a 10% gain or less on the S&P. It's not usual to get 40%, then 30%, then another 30%. That just doesn't happen. And especially with monetary policy tightening, with Jerome Powell taking liquidity out of the markets, which is what the rate hikes, the tapering, selling of assets, that's what it's intending to do. It's intending to take liquidity out of the market because inflation is getting so crazy, right? And when you take inflation, when you take cash out of the market, that means that there's less cash to invest. That means there's less cash to buy things. There's less cash to buy products and services, right? There's less cash for NFTs. So with that said, the market, in my view, cannot grow 30% when there's that much liquidity being taken out of the market. Hopefully that makes sense. But yeah, guys, I love doing this stuff, mainly because I like providing you guys with any sort of perceived value. So if you get anything out of this, but on your way out, if you haven't done so already, 2 things I want you to do. 3 things I want you to do. Leave a thumbs up, please. Follow me on Instagram. I will be sending out the watch list, so it behooves you to follow me on Instagram. And we're trying to get verified because there's too many damn scammers out there. And follow me on Twitter. I'm a good follow, and I send out a lot of trades on Twitter as well. And lastly, come be a part of the community. Would love to have you. Over 4,000 traders. Would not disagree with that. Anyway, traders, I hope you have a great weekend with your friends and family. As always, stay safe.